So let me just check I'm not crackling chat. Yes, sorry for the echo there, guys. So, good evening and welcome to OTL Realistic. It's OTL Realistic's Season 1, and tonight we go to round 3 and we head to the streets of Albert Park at Australia. So, a layout quickly before we get starting of who's in what car I think is in order. It's the best way to get kicked off in Realistic every week. So then we get an idea of who's in what car. So our two Haas drivers tonight, we have Clarkey and SPW. The two Williams cars, we have Mazespin and ENTXJ. The two Alfa Romeo boys, Helmade and Pedro. Two Alpine guys, Mr. Rage and Ryan Sam. Two Aston drivers, being Ryan Sam and Bossman. Two Aston... Oh, sorry. Oh, have I got that a wee bit confused? Two Alpine drivers, Mr. Rage, Ryan Sam. Two Aston drivers and Bossman and Matt. Two Alpha Tauri drivers and Fingers and F. Lewis. Our two McLaren drivers will be Volks Bob and Dixie Enormous. I hate saying his name out loud like that. That just should be illegal. The two Ferrari boys will be Mitchy, Matt and Danny. Our Red Bull guys tonight will be Mitch and Charlie. I see Charlie is a strong favourite going into tonight. And our Mercedes boys are Ranger and Scooby Stew. So I hope you are all well. Let's have a quick go over of our standings also. Of course, I think with Haas and Clarkey being in the Haas, that would mean that they are somewhere at the top of the championship. But we will get a full overview of it so far. So we have Clarkey leading the way in the championship with 38 points, only separated by SPW by 1 point. So SPW second to Clarkey, 38 for Clarkey, 37 for SPW. Then in 4th and 5th we have Mazespin and ENTXJ, both locked horns and 31 points. Helmade in 6th, at 1 point behind on 30. Then Ryan Sam, our defending champion, or the defending champion of the Realistic League, a couple of points behind in 7th on 28. Then we have Pedro hot on his heels on 27th and P8. Then we've got a tie for 9th and 10th with Mr. Rage and Bossman, both guys on 25. Then Matterman just sitting outside that top 10 on 24. Fingers on 22. He's had a couple of good opening rounds of the season, but I think he'll be on to push on. Dixie probably not finishing where he feels he should. And 13th on 20. Volks Bob 14th on 18. Mitsuman P15 on 16 points. Then F. Lewis 16th on 15 points. Of course, only finished one race. Nick in 18th, but he's a reserve. Oh yes, Spectator. I am a silly man. Sorry, Mr. Rage, if you are watching. Mitch and P19 and 4 points, and Charlie, of course, that double retirement, the only point for that pole position on the leaderboard thus far. The teams, Ren and Stimpy leading the way on 69 points. The Paul and Bruce fan club are 8 points behind on 61. Then 6 points behind, much bigger than she could take, in 55 in 3rd place. And I'm not even going to say P4 because I think it's just not for kids. They're on 51. We hate the English in P5 on 49. I will say that. That's what she said in P6 on 40. The Six Fingered Wurzel Racing Team in 7th on 34. Charlie and the Shoe Factory in P8 on 26. Next Gen Racing in 9th on 15. And the Day Dribblers in P10 on 4 points. And that's probably, I think, the first time I have said all the team names live on stream, so that maybe gave everybody a bit of a laugh. Good evening, Salma, Ethan, Nick, Mr. Rage and Mazespin. It's very nice to have you alongside. Of course, on a Thursday evening, as always, it is full qualifying, hence the slightly earlier start time. Apologies, boys, if you are watching the stream, I was just getting set up. I'll just give them a wee apologies. Yes, Mazespin and Clarkey shouldn't be our teammates, so they're having, and look, would you look at that, some damp conditions leading the way in qualifying. I wonder if it will stay the same for the race. Don't tell me in the stream, we do not want to know. It always adds to a better commentating session if I do not know the tyre. But looking at the time screen, the weather forecast, F. Lewis is took his quality ban, should have maybe come out if Lewis, of course, that big incident with Charlie, he openly put his hands up in respect to it, took it on the chin. I think he knew a penalty was coming, but he will come out fighting. He's not to a bad car, so I think we will see him improve. Yes, Skalma, I would agree. I think Charlie should be way up the road. But I'm interested to see who comes out in that second and third spot. I think we're going to see Mr. Rage being the Alpine. I think we'll see him up the road a bit. He'll not be too far away. Obviously Charlie's going to have a good half a second on him, but I think we should have some advantage. So have we got out and out laps? We'll have a look. I'm going to grab a little drink as well, chat. Well, it's just early in the session. I need my refreshments for qualifying. Oh, the chitty chatting works up a thirst. So, who do we have a lead man on the out lap? It looks like Mazispoon. Yes sir, it is. So, Maz in the Williams, and the guys in the low performing cars will probably welcome the weather. They might just load the wing up, especially if it's going to be wet in the race, and really push hard for good positioning since the conditions are not so good. So could be a leveler. Good luck to Nick. What car is Nick in? That's a good point. Oh, well, Nick's in a Mercedes. I mean, Charlie maybe not have such a easy fight then. We'll see how that goes. Let's go back to Mazispoon, though, a lead man. As he tucks it up nicely into turn 3, sorry. He keeps it nicely away from the curb in turn 3, and the fast kink of 5, that would be, I think, in turn 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, yes, so this is 8, this is turn 8 right here. Let me come up to turn 9, I just had to get my bearings on the circuit for a second, and then we have the long kink of turn 10, and then the fast chicane of 11 and 12 that will claim many victims. I am 100% sure of that, and it'll probably be the spawn of our safety car in the race. Maz has been being nice and easy, and he picks up an invalidation there on exit, but where is Charlie? I think Charlie's on a lap here, and Pedro is also on a lap, so there's been some traffic here. There. So that's a couple of nights in a row. Just stay away from that one, I think. Pedro slots into P3 and a 37.8. Where else do we have laps going to come in on the board? Mitch goes up to P5 and a 37.9, and I think we have Mazispoon on his second time run. No, he got out the lap. Who was that? It was Ryan Sam. I think in the Alpine car, yes it was, on a 35.2, excuse me chat. So, where next do we have people out? Mr. Rage out and out lap. How is Matman getting on? He's on an invalidated lap, not too far behind SPW. So I'm trying to figure out roughly where everybody's filtering in here. There's so many guys on split laps, like out laps, in laps, fast laps. The traffic's a bit very out of sync, which is going to make life a bit difficult for guys, especially on hot laps, not getting themselves caught up in too much traffic. Dixie puts his car up to P5, the McLaren in a 36.3. Probably looking for more time. Let's go see how he's getting on in the car. And Clarkey puts the car up to P4, although Adam is going again, I think. Yeah, he is. He's going to try and get it in the second run. He'll come out the last corner. No DRS, of course, because it's very wet. And there's a driver in the wall out the last corner. Who's that? I think it could be Ranger. I think that could be Ranger, or it is Mazepin. I think it's Mazepin, and we've lost Ranger also in the Mercedes. Dixie improves to 35 flat. He's looking good for second row of the grid. Could we see the Dixie Ryan battle reignite? Is this when they start to lock horns again in this championship battle? So Mitch is on a lap. We'll stay with him. He did look like he was a little bit up. Looking nice and tidy. There was Mitch as well. So let's see Mitch, as he comes round the last corner himself, he will scamper off up to the line. Can he improve on his 36.4? Get any closer to Mitsumat? I think yes, he does a 36.2, finds a couple of tenths in his lap. So not too bad at the moment. How is Matman getting on? He's coming towards the middle of Sector 2. So let's see when he comes up to the split, and we'll see how he is getting on. I think also, oh, and he has a big oversteer moment coming out. Turn 9. And there's a car fast approaching, not too far behind. It's very close to the wall there as he tries his best to open up the entrance of turns 11 and 12, the infamous and heart and soul of probably Albert Park's racetrack. So Toman, whenever he puts the car here, he is going to have some time on the board. Of course, we're just going to see guys probably going out for 3 and 4 runs. They'll feel their way around the track, as you can see. Couple, 3 laps in. Oh, and Matt, he's just pushing a bit too hard. He's had a big oversteer moment there as well, out the last corner. So that again is going to scrub more time. He's still going to do somewhere in the 34s. He goes to a 34.3. Dixie improved, we see on his second run to a 34.2. Andy is up again. So Dixie looking very good indeed. We will stay with him. No split to show, so we'll just need to check it when he comes through the last few corners and up to the line. But he's looking very neat and tidy. Don't want to use the grass too much there, that may cost him a bit. But it has not, it did not seem to for sure. Well, Charlie, it seemed like your car was a bit invisible to everybody else. When you're on track at times, people could say the same, mate, so you should just think about that. And Dixie does improve to P3 on a 33.9. Spend a bit more time picking your spots and qualifying better. SPW having a big moment. He's in the thick of that fight. Round about that P10 battle. Helmet about to get maybe his first lap on the board. And it will be a 38.0 for Helmet. So we're only going to lose 2 drivers because of course F. Lewis serving his quali ban. Oh, it's Helmet there, catches the curb on the inside, and the exit of turn 2 manages to stop it going into the wall. And as we were saying, we'll only lose 4 drivers because we've lost 3. We in fact, well, Vox Bob, I think, so I'm interested to see how this would work, because as far as I'm aware, Rangers should be out, although he's set a competitive lap time, and I don't understand why Vox Bob has not overtaken him on the leaderboard, so that is an interesting one. Dixie is all done for his run. Dixie, best of the rest in Q1 to our top 2. But you nobody expected that one. Pedro retires from the session, so he's had enough. A couple of drivers coming back out in the outlaps. Mitzi Matt, 2 Ferrari boys, Danny Boy also. I think all our other guys are out there on in-laps now. Oh, Helmet may still be pushing on. He is. Clark 8 retired from the session and he has lost it. So how many drivers have we lost? I think Pedro's a retirement from the pits. Good evening, Adam. Welcome, welcome. Looking good for you so far. And I think we will only lose one driver now, because we have had the 4 retirements. We needed 15 drivers will go through. I'm not quite sure what happens there. Pedro, of course, just retires in the pit. Season enough for the session. He will improve also to P9. I hope you all well, chat. SPW having a great start to the championship. 1 point in it, of course, between himself and Clarky. And I wonder if SPW thought when he first joined Realistic into race 3 he'd be in the slowest car because he's doing so well in the championship. But the slower cars he's been performing well, so kudos to that. I know from personal experience that they're not easy cars to get along with. But if there is a driver that can get along with a very weird car, it would be the very weird person of SPW, so I think they both get along quite well. Fat fact. That's a Matterman thing, just in case you wondered, chat. Somebody wrote in the comments there, but it's not showing up for me. He's moaning so much, I believe it. A money guy for a money car. It just makes sense. Where is our Fingers? How is he getting on in these Alpha Tower? He's out on an outlap. Fat facts, yes sir. Nick improved to a 32.2, although I think that is about to change. It is a 31.8 for Nick, and he goes within a tenth of a second to Charlie. So, that's an interesting one. Matterman is invalidated, she's out. His run, Ryan Sam is off it. Mitzi Matt showing us is a little bit up in the split, so he is going to come round and complete the lap. So let's see exactly where Mitzi Matt goes. Can he improve? Somebody improved there quite well, actually, I think. Who was that improved there? Oh, I'm not really sure what happened to the leaderboard there. Did somebody drop the car? Have we had somebody crash out? Too many things going on, chat. Matterman's invalidated, that's a surprise. Where else are we at? We've got Mitzi Matt. Maybe it was Mitzi Matt that improved and it was just a delay on my screen. Let's see if SPW is up. He's finding a little bit of time. He's coming to the last few corners. SPW to the line, and he is going to find some time here. He'll go to a 36.3. He'll jump himself up to P11. Good job there for Mr. SPW. I think he'll be pretty pleased getting that Haas to P11. And of course it means if he finishes about there, he'll gain a couple of car positions and feel better. And Matterman just gets away with one there. He was absolutely on the limit of invalidation. Charlie's had enough for the session. He knows he is comfortably through. And on no decks there, if Charlie can keep it out of trouble, I am sure he will get the win, which he is very, very much deserved in the opening couple of races. Last week taken away from that big incident with Lewis, and he does deserve the win. I think he knows that also. So tonight I am rooting. You invalidated. I am rooting for you tonight, Charlie. I want to see you just go and have a good chill race and go get the win that you've been searching for in the first few races. Of course it'll impact your car for next week, but you got to get them W's. Alright, so I'm having a big oversteer moment himself. Fingers finds 0.6 of a second, goes up to P8 and a 35.7. And the SPW's quite a bit up here in the Haas, so he's found quite a chunk of time in his second lap. Is he going to go way into the 35s? Or he lost a bit of things, only a 36.2 in the end. Was showing me him 4 tenths up, so I'm just wondering if he lost some time. Big commitment into Tom 1 there as well in the Haas. ENTXJ on a lap. He's going to be, in fact he is our only man not to get a lap on the board so far. So Charlie is saying he's got a low 31 in the bag, so Charlie feeling very good. And I think we'll see him just canter away here. But the fight for P2 is very much on. Of course, take Nick out the standings as he's just a reserve. And yeah, a Matoman Dixie Rage fight for P3, P2 and P3 in the grid. Could be an interesting one. So the curtain falls on the qualifying session. We will see in the end who we're going to lose. ENTSG is the man we want to stay with. No lap time on the board thus far. Needs to get some time to get himself up in front of Clarkey in the Haas and get himself out of that drop zone. Of course, he wants to go through into Q2. Will the weather improve also? Time will tell, chat. Time will tell. Out the last corner he goes. He'll get his foot nicely onto the pivot. It's going to be a 37 for ENTXJ. He'll go to P17 and that will be him out, I think. Well, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to, because I'm sure Ranger, Clarkey, Volks, F. Lewis, Mazespin, they've all crashed. So I don't know if these guys will go through. But that is the session over for now. We've just got some guys coming into the pits, and then that should be us. Oh, I think Mitsima might actually have the bug. I'm not sure what's going on here, chat, honestly. Oh, that's apparently qualifying over when it is. So, yeah, Charlie will take the scalp in Q1 by 1/10 of a second to Nick, and then they're 2 seconds clear to Mataman there in P3. But P2 and P3, which will be for the race battle, looking very close between Matoman, Dixie and Mr. Race. Ryan Sam there in P6 are defending champion. Danny Boy a couple of tenths behind in 7th. Fingers 7 tenths adrift there in P8, and then we've got Missy Matt just a couple of tenths behind. Then Mitch almost matching his time, and then Pedro only a tenth behind them in P11. SPW in a 36.2 and a half, doing a stellar job there to get a decent lap in on the board. Bossman in P13 and a 37.3, and then are we only going to lose 2 drivers from the next session? So on to Q2 we go, and we have only just 13 drivers, so top 10 of course will progress on to Q3. And I don't know if I mentioned, chat, but of course I think my compadre, the Statsman Young Jensen, will be joining us in Realistic for comms from next week onwards. So that's something to get a little bit more excited about, and it definitely makes our job of keeping going for the full session a little bit easier, because if I need to jump for the toilet or I need to do something quick for the kids, there's really nobody here to take over. But out they go, still on that intermediate tyre, and the track looking a bit darker than it was. So I think the session may be getting worse. So who are we going board with? We'll go on board with Charlie on his outlap. We'll stay with him since he took pole for the first runs, and I'm going to quickly grab the restroom chat. Oh, let me just check I'm not crackling, chat. I think we are absolutely good, so I don't want to make any of these ears hurt. Charlie, lighten up the sectors then, as he comes through turns 11 and 12. Absolutely on the limit there on that intermediate compound as well, because if he was even a centimetre more to the left there, he would have picked up a lap in validation, but he is absolutely on one at the moment. Looking nice and tidy, using all of the track and some more into the second to last corner. Keeps it nice and neat to the apex. Now it's a case of balancing throttle and steer angle as you try and pick the throttle up more and more out the last corner till you can get it fully down and launch yourself towards that line. And Charlie will set the pace of Q2 in a 31.8. So where do we have there behind me? I think it's going to be Dixie. Dixie will go into P2 in a 34.3, so I think the track may be coming down the way. I think it's getting a little bit slower. I could be wrong. Nick there slots in a 33.2 into P2, but of course not quite there. SPW in a 35.9, Ryan Sam slots into P4 in a 34.5. The lap time starts to come thick and fast. Misty Matt will be next to the line. It's a 36.2 for Mitzi Matt. Danny Boy out the last corner also, and then I think he'll be followed by Green Fingers. Danny Boy goes to P5 on a 35.3. We get Fingers out the last corner, and he is closely followed by Matoman. I'm not sure if Matoman is on a lap. Fingers will go to P8 on a 36.3 as Matoman comes to the line. He is on a lap, and he'll go to P5 now on a 34.6, and the 34 started to dominate the middle of the pack. We've got Mr. Rage now lapping. How is Mitch getting on? He's coming through the last corner now. He goes to the line. Where can Mitch put himself? Can he get himself into a Q3 position? At the moment he does on a 37.1, but with Rage, Pedro and Bossman still to get some lap times on the board. I think Mitch will need to find some more time. Where is Mr. Rage? He is in the guts of Sector 1, just coming up to the Sector 2, or the end of Sector 1 split. Charlie now goes to a 31.5 and finds a few tenths on his second lap around. So maybe this is what the drivers are doing, they're finding more time on their second run. We've seen Dixie improve massively as the laps went on in the session. And Pedro, is Pedro at the moment? Has Pedro had a spin and been disqualified for facing the wrong way? Mr. Rage goes to P3 on a 33.3. So is Dixie going to improve in his next time around enough? Not actually even getting the telemetry on the board. He is not, he's way off his pace in that second run, so maybe a kind of cool down lap and go for it on the third attempt. Osman's still in the pits, he's not looking to find any time. Nick is on another one as we speak. Rage a little bit up, let's see in the 10th, he is half a tenth up here. So Rage, can he find some time to the line on the second run round? He is not, he ends up a couple of tenths off. Dixie now up, but he will pick up an invalidation on the exit of turn 12. How's Ryan Sam getting on, the other Alpine driver for tonight? He just got up to the sector split just before turns 11, so we'll get an idea. And he is nearly half a second up, Ryan Sam at the moment, so he's about to jump Dixie and put himself, I think, right in between Matt and Dixie as it stands at the moment, but if he can find some time through the last few corners, then quite possibly he jumps Matt and goes to P4, which of course would be a podium position for Ryan. But it's only Q2, and points are not won in qualifying, so at the moment it does not matter. We've had another driver round also, it is Nick. I think he's managed to keep the car on the road. As Ryan Sam comes to the line, he finds 8 tenths of a second and goes down to a 33.5. Guys, of course, may be on a warm tyre at the moment. Wanting to keep 2 brand new sets if Q3 is going to be damp, they will most definitely want 2 new sets when they go out for their 2 runs. So they may be using a scrubbed up set at the moment. Bossman just done a little bit. Everybody else coming into the pits, so we can stay with Bossman for a little bit. We'll go on board with him. And he's going to pick up an invalidation there on the exit of 1. The front of the car just would not come in for him at all. So we have Charlie leading the way on a 31.5 in P1, then Mr. Rage in P2, and Nick, I think, is now out of the session. He is. so he will drop to P10 and take no further part. So we get Mr. Rage in P2 on a 33.3, Ryan Sam in P3 on a 33.5, and Mataman P4 on a 34.0, then Dixie P5 on a 34.1, Fingers P6 on a 35.2, Danny Boy P7 on a 35.3, Mitsima also P8 and also on a 35.3, then Mitch P9 on a 35.5, so Mitch did find a good chunk of time and get himself right in the competitive zone in his Red Bull. SPW on a 35.9, but unfortunately here somebody's going to lose out to Nick, and I don't like that the game does this because Nick retired the car, so for me he should go out in the session. But I think if nobody beats that, which they probably won't, they will only take 9 drivers through to Q2, Q3, which kind of sucks. Let's see if we can find out for Pedro. So yeah, I'd like to find out if we can from Pedro why he got DSQ'd. I can talk to the drivers directly, I feel like a top man. So we'll see if we can get some information filtered back through as the guys come out on the last runs now of Q2. Is Mitsima, oh, in the rear of Mitsima's car, it just would not stay in check at all there. So we've got Matt, Dixie, Danny Boy and Mitch all in outlets. We've got SPW out on track at the moment. Oh, and he'll pick up an invalidation there, so that'll be over for him. He may have fuel for another run. Bossman looking much more neat and tidy this time around, so he is going to get a time on the board. Nice and delicate out the last corner he goes. And up to the line for Bossman, where can he put himself in the fray? Goes to P6 and a 34.7, and after not really getting the car hooked up for the first couple of sessions, that's a great lap to get in and a great time as well, so pressure on for guys. And of course that puts Nick to P10. Mitch finds 0.3 of a second, goes to a 35.5, and he's very close to the Ferrari boys, is Mitch. SPW going for another run, he is going to try, so we'll stay with the Haas man. He's going to have to be very aggressive onto turn 1, which he has, and Fingers retired from the session. I think that could be in the pit, so he's had enough for now. Big lock up down into turn 3 there for SPW. So let's see, Pedro's just coming back to us, so we may actually see exactly why he got DSQ'd from the session. I think it's maybe because he is spun. And he's trying to get back on track, and for some reason it's disqualified him for going the wrong way. Which doesn't make any sense, to be honest. The game has been a bit evil there, to be honest. So SPW looking like he's finding some time. How much time we have yet to see. Oh, easy with the inside lock up there for SPW, but he keeps it relatively neat. The line won't impact him too much. Now it's all about the exit. He's very aggressive on the throttle, trying to eke out every little bit of that car he can. He does a 36 flat and he will not improve. So SPW will go out. Bossman will finish the session on a 34.7. Where is Matoman? I think he is a lead man next to come round. Is it Charlie? No, it's Charlie. How much is Charlie up? He comes to the line. It's going to be in the low 31s for Charlie. He'll go to a 31.1. Finds nearly half a second. I don't think Matoman is up at the moment. Dixie, how is he looking as he comes up to the sector 2 split? Has he found any time in his second run? He's a 10th off at the moment. And I think Mataman is coming into the pits. Yes, he is. So Dixie is the last man on track at the moment. Has he got any time in the last sector? Is this where he's been losing some time? He did come to the 33s. So Charlie will lead the way. Mataman P2, Rage 3, Dixie 4, Ryan Sam 5, Bossman 6, Danny 7, Fingers 8 and Mitsuma P9. We will lose Nick, Mitch, SPW and Pedro from the session, and onto Q3 we will go. So, onwards we go. Q3 chat. Charlie got logged out. Oh, that's not good. Do you need an invite? I will get you an invite. Do I have you? That's the thing. So FRL underscore Charlie. Right, Charlie, I've sent you a new invite, mate, for you coming back on. So let's get some details on. People getting logged out on PSN. Not really sure what's going on here. We've got Mitsuma out on the track. Dixie with a soft tyre on. Is he playing with us? Is he trying to show me something? The rain has stopped as far as it is on my screen, so we may see some people take to some dry tyres come the end of the session. So Charlie gets logged out also. I wonder if that's something going on with the PS5 systems. So, the last runs begin now. Mitsima is out on that intermediate tyre, but I think the guys are waiting for some dry conditions to come upon us. Is this going to be every day having a scamper on the dying death of the session? I think so. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. Shame you couldn't get through there, Mitch. You were looking competitive. You're very close to that midfield battle, so hoping to see you in a good fight today. Mitzi Matt lighting up the sectors. Who else is that that's came out? Ryan Sam has came out, but the track is drying. Although not drying as quick as you would expect, so that may change some things. Oh, Pedro needing a little invite. I'm getting on that now, Mr. Pedro. With there, sir. There you go, young man. Yeah, you're looking very comfortable here now, Mitch. It used to be probably one of the tracks you struggled about as well, but if you can keep it nice and steady through 11 and 12 at the race, I think you could go and have a really good one here. Maybe some points inside that top 10. But Mitzi Matt's going to set a benchmark time as it stands at the moment. It's going to be a 35.7, so I've seen that intermediate's just getting a little bit hot. It's a 30.9 sector 1 split for Mataman, so he's on one at the moment. And the track really starting to come towards the drivers now. Dixie has went out, so we've seen a flurry of drivers come out on the intermediate tyre now. So I did send you an invite, Charlie, so there should be a fresh one there for you to join. I hope you got it, sir. Oh, and Mataman's going to pick up an invalidation and he went too wide at turn 12. And he will give up his first run of Q3. So who else? How was Ryan Sam getting on? He is just going through turns 5 and 6. So we'll stay with Ryan Sam. Mataman is on a 30.9 sector 1 split. So we'll get an idea of roughly where Ryan Sam was, and he's a couple of tenths down on what Mataman was sitting in the first sector. Pedro gets back into the session, thankfully. Ryan Sam sector 2 split. It's a 56 flat on the sector 2 for Ryan Sam. We've got Dixie not far behind as well. Where is Dixie? It's a 55.9, so he's a few tenths up on Ryan Sam. He's going to go a little bit wide in the entrance to turn 11 and 12, but gives him a nice line for the exit as he barrels down through the kink of 13 into turns 14, then up to the complex of 15, 16 and 17, which 17 being the last corner and probably one of the trickiest traction zones on the track. Ryan Sam goes to pole position as it stands in a 34.1, but I think we're going to see a quicker time here from Dixie. He gets a very strong exit out the last corner, up to the line he goes. It's going to be a high 33, so 33.8 at the moment for Dixie. Bear with me 1 second, chat. I've just got the thing coming through. Ooh. So, Dixie did go to pole on that 33.8. He holds a few tenths of an advantage, but we see some guys in the box on that dry compound tyre. Is the track going to come to them? Well, we see everybody jump to the softs come the end of the session. Charlie just done an outlap, as is Bossman. Have we got Dixie going again? He needs to go into the pit. If they think the dry weather's going to come, he probably need to box because he won't get an outlap. He'll probably not get the other run. It depends how far he's up though. Maybe the intermediate tyre is going to be the way, just a very dry lap, so they think it is going to be the way. He is going to come out the last corner. How much is Dixie up? Needs to be a good chunk. Low 33 inbound, it's a 33.6, he goes to P2 at the moment. Now, is the dry tyre going to come into play? Not Mr. Rage coming out in an outlap, so this is interesting. The rain stopped. I think the track is just too slippy. The dry tyre's not going to come into play at all. Mitsuma's trying it, so let's see how he's getting on. We will get a very good visual indication of what state the track is in, and oh, it's just not ready for the... It's not ready at all for the soft compound tyre. Oh, and Rysam's going to go out. He's going out from the session. There's a big incident on the exit turn 11, a tenth and a half up. On the exit at 12, gets too much in the curb, car goes round and into the wall he goes. Adam in low fuel mode as well. That may be his qualifying session over for now. How is Charlie getting on? Charlie's came to the pits. Bossman up into turn 12 on, he'll perfectly pick up an invalidation though. He's going to get away with that one, but will he just get out of the lap there and maybe go to the pits? So, Ryan Sam with the pole position time is, could he be the shock pole of the session though? Could it be Dixie that takes the pole position? I don't think the guys are going to get another run in. Dixie needs to go. It's now a hot lap coming up behind them. A slow lap, so just an outlap, so Adam can get in. Bossman coming out the last corner. To the line he goes. Of course, Ryan Sam will only start P9. He will still recover. Bossman does a 37.3. There's Mitsumat's plan just to be out with some fuel in the car and hope the track comes to him. I think that's what we could see happening right here. Mitsumat still struggling away on the medium compound. How was Rage getting on? He's going to have to deal with a bit of traffic through the kink of turn 10. 55.3 in sector 2, so Rage very much looking on point at the moment to take that pole position as it stands, but we do have Charlie just opening his lap at the end of the session, so Charlie will be our last man to set a hot lap. Dixie will not get out again. For some reason we're showing a yellow flag constantly in sector 3, so the session is over. Dixie on provisional pole as it stands, but I think Rage is going to dislodge him from that at the moment. Gets out of the last corner and to the line he goes. Can Rage put that car on provisional pole? Yes, he does. It's a 33.1 for Mr. Rage. Now who do we have next? We've got Danny Boy in an invalidated lap, so his session is over. Mitsumat's over. Bossman improves to P4, he goes to 34.9. It's a solid lap there for Bossman. Mitsumat's not on one. What has Matoman got? Can he get anything? He goes to P4 now. The Aston boys are P4 and P5. Matoman on a 33.7. and right behind Dixie, but Charlie is probably going to be the man. It's a 54-3 in Sector 1 as it stands. Mitsima ahead, so it'll help with a little bit of tow. Mitsima on his soft compound tyre, he is also on a run, so this could be make or break for Charlie here, because Mitsima is on a run, but he's on that slick compound tyre. Could this cost Charlie some time? Mitsima tries to keep it nice and neat, but Charlie's going to have to be very careful. But I think still it will be very comfortable. Mitsima will go to the line and they will go at the line together, but Charlie will go on to pole in a 31.7, and in the end it was never in doubt. 31.7 for Charlie, and just drives straight on into the wilderness. So Charlie on pole, Rage in P2. Ryan Sam was in P3, but Dixie will get promoted to P3, down to Ryan Sam retiring the car at turn 12. So it'll be Charlie from Rage, Ryan Sam P3, well maybe he'll start in P3 actually, I don't know. Dixie 4th, Matoman P5, Bossman 6, Danny Boy 7, Fingers P8, Mitsimat P9. Good stuff there for Charlie, advantage. Pretty massive at the front of the grid, but after that it is very, very compressed. So I think once Charlie settles down and gets some scores on the board and people start settling into their proper championship positions, we're going to be set for quite an intense battle. It's just a case of waiting on the guys settling down into their... My headset out there, chat. I apologise. As I was saying, yes, once guys settle down into the proper championship order, then I think we could be set for quite an intense championship fight. So the dry weather is upon us. Of course that could change, we never know. We just need to wait and see. So 20 seconds till session start, and then OTL Realistic Season 1 Round 3 at Albert Park will get underway. I think it's going to be an easy win if Charlie can just keep the car on track. He will drive away at the front, but the battle behind will be rather interesting, I do believe. And a difference in tyres here. Mr. Rage opting to start on the medium. Let's have a look through the full grid and see exactly what tyres they have all went for. So we've got Mr. Rage, Nick, Mitch, Ranger, Clarky all in the medium. Charlie, Ryan, Sam, Dixie, oh well, everybody else. In fact, I'm not even going to see the full grid, all on the soft. So we've got Charlie and Rage on row 1. Ryan, Sam and Dixie on row 2, Mataman, Bossman on row 3, the Aston Boys row 3, it could be a good scoring day for them. Of course the Alpines in 2 and 3 also. So the battle is on. In row 4 it will be Danny Boy and Fingers, row 5 Mitsima and Nick, row 6 SPW and Mitch, row 7 will be Pedro and Ranger, row 8 Clarky and Helmet, row 9 ENTHG and Volksbob, and row 10 F Lewis and Mazespin. Of course we've not seen F Lewis yet, as he was serving that quali ban for his incident at Jeddah with Charlie. So interesting stuff here. Rage could be put under quite big pressure early doors, especially on that harder compound, because the soft does run quite well here. You're probably going to take the soft tyre to about lap 10, 9 or 10, and then you can stick the medium on and go all the way to the end. I know that's said hard at the bottom of the screen, but the optimum strategy is the soft to medium or medium to soft. You do not want to differ on that. Don't let Jeff tell you otherwise. If you watched the race last night, I showed OTL Alien myself that the one stop is the strategy to use, P90 to P3. and now will be crap for the rest of the season. So Charlie will come up and lead the way. We'll jump to the back of the grid as Mazepin comes round to form us all up, and then it will be lights out for the start. We'll go to position change just to see what guys gain here and where on the way around as Mazepin gets into the back box on the grid and he lines up. So we'll get two on. That's a great shot to see he's lining up. So OTL realistic round 3. Albert Park has 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out and away for realistic, and it's a very, very good start for Charlie as anticipated. But look at Matoman up to P2 right off the start. The soft tyre working great on his contact. He's turned Rage round right off the start. I'm not quite sure. Ryan, Sam and Bossman, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I think we've got some derate going on. Big contact there on. I hope Dixie's not picked up any damage there. His fingers has improved up to P10, and there's a lot of scabbling going on further behind. SPW being put under pressure from Helmet. Danny Boy right on the back of that as well. We've got Clarky trying to put Danny Boy under pressure. F Loose, ENTSG all back there too. ENTSG and F Loose will go side by side out of turn 7, trying to get the move done. ENTSG will take the tyre line and he will go through in that Williams car as it stands for now. Let's go back to this Mitzi Man and Fingers battle. Can he find any time? Has Dixie found any damage? But Matoman with the start straight to P2. But will there be consequences from that lap 1 incident from Rage? Oh wow. So, on Dixie's going to have to box, so Dixie's picked up some damage off the start in the melee as well, and we see Mitsumat, they'll go round the outside again, Fingers, but Fingers will get on the energy and absolutely steam back into front as he goes up, back into P6, and he's gained a couple off the stop. Ranger YouTube up to P5 in that Mercedes, and somebody's round. Who's that? It's Matoman. Matoman is round out the first corner. And he's dropped the car, and that's going to be a VSC, possibly a full safety car because he's right in the middle of the road. And Dixie has been massively saved. What a time for that to happen. I would be absolutely stunned if we only get a VSC. The saving grace there for Adam, if it's only a VSC, it still saved the grid scampering away. He's probably saved about 8 seconds there. He's saved about 8 seconds, so 8 seconds saved. He's just got to get his head down now and go back chasing the pack as Bossman has a bit of a queue starting to snake up to the back of him. But the grid should thin out as the race goes on, as we get Pedro and Mitch at the back there. So we're back to green flag racing. Where is the gas? We'll go to the Danny Boy helmet. Maybe something can materialise from this one. Don't think guys going to be close enough around. We'll go to F Lewis on Volksbob. He's right up his trumpet, but Volksbob is going to use some energy to defend that one. McLaren being a very quick car in the straight line. Nick now back there at P15, chasing down Mr. Rage, and through he goes in the Mercedes. Where else do we have some battles? We have Mitsima in the P6. Still chasing down Fingers. I think this could be a battle maybe to watch. Mataman joins back in the session. with DRS enabled because we're on to lap 3. I'm not quite sure what's going on about that. I'm unsure. Ryan, Sam and Bossman now having a bit of a battle. Bossman shown as ghosted on my screen. Oh, and Bossman maybe lagged out here. I think he may have lagged out. But this is possibly what's going on with Bossman, and that's why he's a ghosted car. So that's going to impact his race drastically. Let's look further back here. Can anybody make some gains? Nick all over the back at ENTX. Oh, sorry, F. Lewis all over the back at ENTXJ. That battle continues, and these guys tend to have a lot of on-track action beside each other. ENTXJ will defend that inside line. F. Lewis will see what he's up to there and look for the open line. Get the better drive and just stay tucked up behind. Mr. Rage goes through and bugs Bob. So Mr. Rage already making gains. How is Dixie getting on? He has found some time to the pack. He is slowly but surely making his way back up there. A few laps time. He'll be right back on the back of these guys. Ranger putting Ryan Sam under pressure. He's going to go for a big move. He does go for a big move there. Ryan Sam sees him coming through and just lets him go on. That AI is in some crazy difficulty. So look at this battle materialising. ENTXJ and Clarky. Clarky shows him a little chink. Says, I am here. Look at F. Lewis though, he's got the better run and exit out of turn 2, but ENTXJ, the second phase of the corner's just much better. Oh, and Clarky's going to get turned round a little bit. There's a bit of contact there. Clarky ends up sideways and now he'll go side by side with Nick. Oh, there could be a bit more contact, but they get through. Now ENTXJ and F. Lewis, oh, there's a bit of wheel banging there. So it's all kicking off in this midfield battle. We've got Danny Boy and Hellmaid also, so maybe something will come of this fight as it heads down into turn 1. We've got Green Fingers coming up and Bossman Fingers up to P4. Danny Boy on the back of Hellmaid now. And look at that, Cure Cars. Who said realistic was boring? No way. Hell no, Bossman. Oh, he's a DRS car, so I think we might see Danny Boy creep up and maybe have a go at Helmet down into turn 3 now. Just needs to be good on the brakes. Focus on getting a better run here. Helmet gets a very good exit, and Danny Boy can maybe come under pressure from F. Lewis. F. Lewis maybe thinking about sending one down the inside. Not that time around, although he does make Danny force himself a little bit deep. So F. Lewis will look for the better line here as Helmet has a big oversteer moment on the exit of the corner, and he's going to now get put under all sorts of pressure from Danny Boy behind in the Ferrari, F. Lewis there in his Alpha Tauri, and Nick now joined the back of this fight in P10 in that Mercedes car. Oh, somebody's went really wide there. What's happened there? Helmet, I'm not sure exactly what's happened there, but he must have picked up damage, and now there's going to be a big melee, and there's all sorts of carnage going on through the corner. Somebody else is in the wall. Mitsuman's safety car comes out, so the guys are going to have to be very careful here and sort themselves back out into some order. Hopefully there's been no illegal overtakes, but Mitsuma has somehow ended up out of the session. Safety car comes out. What happens now? Let's see the front. Charlie has lost track position to... Oh, and Fingers has picked up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. No, Fingers. So Charlie loses track position to Ranger. That can make things very interesting. Nick goes up to P4. Box Bob will get through. Is Dixie going to box or is he going for track position? Dixie is going to find himself some positions back on the track. So through he goes, he's back to P8 on a tyre that will still be pretty comfortable. And his race is very much back on. So Charlie's picked up the safety car, like the front four have. I will grab his time to grab the restroom break. Chat, give me 1 second. So I come back, chat, to... I see some people with penalties. So safety car still out. I see we have some guys just getting to the back of the queue. The Mr. Rage SPW fight. Oh, you want to see some tiles? That's absolutely fine, Mr. Scammer. There you go, sir. So a fresh medium for Charlie. He'll just go to the end on that tile. The question is... And I don't know what's going on. Oh, Boss Man. I don't know what's going on there with Boss Man. Safety car will go in this lap, so it's a very, very late call. Ranger's going to have to get right out of this. And then go very, very early. Oh, here's a big wobble. So can Charlie put him under any pressure? The grid gets re-released. And look at the gap they've put on Nick off the restart. 2 seconds in a straight. Nick must have been absolutely napping. So let's see them all filter through. Fingers in P6 on his soft compound. We've got Dixie in P7 on his medium compound tyre. He's going to get the elbows out now with F. Lewis. F. Lewis will try and have a look down round the outside, but Adam is very good on the brakes. F. Lewis looks for the cutback, but Adam has the traction. Will keep on that rear wing of Dixie, and he keeps him off for now, and that's all he needs to do for the first few laps. Keep them off, and his tyre will come good. Yes, that was a cataclysmically good restart from Charlie and Ranger, but Ranger has already lost out to the Red Bull man. Something going on further back. Mazepin and Mr. Rage. Mazepin will try and hang on the outside. Rage, I think, went to the hard compound tyre. Yes, he did. And he will continue on. We've got Clarky all over the back of Helmet. And ENTXJ on the back of Danny Boy. Volksbob and Greenfingers also going side by side. And here's Dixie going to try and come through on his teammate now. And through he'll go. Dixie will get up to P6. And go through and on. F. Lewis is at the back of Volksbob. That's going to put Volksbob a bit deep. Has F. Lewis picked up any damage there from that one? No, that is the interesting question in that contact. Oh, and Volksbob's going deep in just about every corner exit he has so far. F. Lewis about to run out of some Charles, but then so is Adam, but they should both get to the line and get a reboost of that deployment for the lap. And they will continue on in P6 and P7. So Ranger now being put under pressure from Nick. Look at this, Danny Boy. Oh, where is Danny going there? Oh, he's trying to do something crazy there on the outside and he's keeping his foot absolutely pinned in. Clarky's going to have a sandwich on! Danny Boy's going to end up in the wall there. I'm not quite sure what happened. I don't know if Clarky's picked up any damage also in that one. I don't know what is going on there. Clarky is going to lose out to Mr. Rage. I think, did Clarky get any damage? Can we see from the rear wing of Mr. Rage? Oh, I think he has. I think Clarky's definitely got some wing damage. He does. He's missing an end plate. So Clarky's going to have to box. He's getting well out the way there. It's Pedro and Volksbob here go side by side. Pedro and he's Alfa Romeo on that medium compound tyre gets himself up to P11 and he's starting to make a race of it in that car. And the safety car, is that safety car out? No, just DRS enabled as F. Lewis and Dixie go battling for it. F. Lewis now gets through up to P6. And Ryan Sam, see at the moment their fingers somehow now on his soft compound tyre, up to P4. Good evening, carry up. F. Lewis now on the back of Ryan Sam. Dixie been pulled up to this fight as well, so this is about to become a 3-car battle. Oh no, they're about to go side by side at turn 11. This is going to go wrong for somebody. Adam needs to be very careful here and pick up his spots right, and that's it. Get nice and tight and get the exit. That's a good job there from Adam, and he's going to pick up the DRS now, and he just needs to hold the inside line. But look at Ryan Sam, he's going to try and defend this. Dixie will stay on his inside. They'll go side by side into turn 10. Space is left, and Ryan Sam will lose out to Dixie. Good racing there between the boys. My interval's not working. A stupid game. Nick and Ranger, the two Mercedes boy now, who's having a bit of a tussle here, but Nick will get through, I think, on Ranger. Not quite this time around. Ranger will get back on the energy. He'll defend that inside line. Nick looked for it, but it wasn't there. He'll try and go round the outside down into turn 3. Not quite that time around. They'll go side by side into 5, and they've got to be careful there. Somebody's going to get squeezed onto that sausage curb, and that will hold them. And then the camera, I mean, we just got absolutely Lance Stroll there for the camera. What is the game playing at? Absolutely no need for that. I wanted to see the guy grinding the curb. Bloody game. So Dixie's now found himself a bit of a gap. He's got some DRS buffer in terms of gap. The NTXJ and his Williams up there in P8 on that fresh rubber. Oh, we have a yellow flag. Who's this? Oh, it's Ranger. Ranger's round. The wing is off. Could that be a VSC? Don't think it's going to be a VSC, but Ranger is going to be very slow, so guys coming up to him are going to have to be very aware. Ranger has absolutely no wing. Oh, there's big contact there. Oh, and has that made damage for F. Lewis? I wonder if F. Lewis has picked up damage there, because that was not a small bit of contact. And F. Lewis may need to pit, and he does. F. Lewis needs to pit. He picks up wing damage off that contact there into the back of Ranger, who had no wing. And Dixie gets a freebie to P4. Top 3 at the moment, Charlie fingers Dixie. What is happening in this race? Rage on his hard compound tyre up to P6 and all over the back at ENTHA. Pedro's now in P7. What has happened, chat? What has happened? Merck, oh, Merck seemed to have some issues, that is for sure. Mr. Rage and ENTXJ now a battle to commence. Mr. Rage will be trying to take the hard tyre to the end of the race. He's felt that going to the hard over pitting again was more worth it. Is Dixie just going to wing it? Can he take... The medium tyre will do 20 laps, so if he goes another 9 he goes to 22. 27 laps is a big ask. Could he do it? I don't know, man. We'll stay with this. I think this is our biggest one. Oh, Ranger and Ryan, some actually. In fact, Ranger YouTube will go through. He's on his softs. And Ranger went to the soft compound tyre, so he's going to have to try and stretch that out a lot. Like a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Now, is this when we'll see Mr. Rage go through on ENTXJ? ENTXJ will defend the inside line. But look how much deeper his Rage is on the brakes, although he'll struggle a bit in exit. J accepts that I think Rage has gone through and will tuck in behind. Now, that does not mean the battle is over, because of course now Rage has given DRS up. So if ENTXJ can stay pretty close for the run-ups to turns 11 and 12, then he can maybe get a run done down into turn 14. The Rage really starting to put the leaps on, and we have a yellow flag. Who is that? Oh, I think Clarky's been round on his hards. So it's this ENTXJ Rage and Bossman Pedro battle. Will Bossman come for a run on Pedro here? I think he is going to try it. He'll go to the inside line. Pedro going behind, and then he'll go for the run back up the inside there. And that's some great driving there from Pedro, and he leaves space on the exit there. He was aware that Bossman was coming. He's going to leave him some space, and that was some driving there, showing all his wit there was young Pedro. But Bossman will get the DRS now, and he'll push on that ERS and go back through. But as Bossman went through a bit early, as he gave it back to Pedro for the run down into turn 3. Oh, safety car! Why is that? Who's out? Mitch! Mitch is out! Oh, Mitch has lost it, turn 12, and we've got a safety car out! Oh my god, soft tyres to the end of the race, and everybody's going to have new sets. Oh my god. Fingers has just got a freebie. He can take a new set of softs and go to the end, and he should stay in P3. F. Lewis and Ryan Sam maybe choose not to pit, but they'd be silly not to. So like, I mean, oh wow. That changed the dynamic massively. Nick will come in, as will Fingers behind, I'm almost sure of it. So safety car out with 14 laps to go. Green Fingers will pit. Dixie's going to come into the pits as a guarantee. This gives him his free stop. That's exactly what he was looking for on that kind of alternate strategy to everybody else on the track. Rage comes in behind you, TXJ's in, Bossman. I think he'll come in. He may choose not to, but as I say, putting on a new set of soft. Owen Fingers has to go to the medium tyres. ENTXJ just rolling into the pits. Dixie will go through. Oh, and Pedro picks up a time penalty for speed in the pit lane, you dopey dope. No, Pedro. So F. Lewis chose not to pit. Interesting. See how that one factors out. And Pedro has come out on a hard compound tyre. Maybe use these two medium soft tyre and go comfortably to the end of the race. Yes, Mitch. Of course you can. Let me get you an invite while the safety car's out. Let's hope it doesn't absolutely poop the stream again. Bear with me 1 second, young man, and chat. Excuse the blue screen for now. So Mitch, you should have an invite drop to the party now, young man. Safety car out now. I wonder if Pedro is going to box to the soft compound, or will he just choose to keep going on the hards? Interesting strategy calls for some on the track. Yes, I agree. But we did say that the infamous turn 12 would claim somebody. Mitch, I think, our first victim in the race to fall at turn 12. We lost Matt at turn 1 and Mitzi Matt at turn 9. OTL Dixie's the master of strategy. He gets so lucky, doesn't he, Jarvis? Mr. Jarvis, sorry. He gets very, very lucky. Mitch, are you with me? Can you hear me? How are we, sir?
I can hear you, yes. Not so great, eh?
You were having a good race there, man. That was a bit of a sucker punch. Turn 12, catch you out.
Yeah, caught me out, man. I was enjoying it, man.
You were having a good one. You were having a good one. But you've got to take the positives from it, Mitch. You know you can go and fight these guys now.
Yeah, well, if you put the practice in, then you can.
So,
yeah.
Were you doing some practicing pre-race? Did you get some in?
Just a little, but actually,
you were looking comfortable.
Mondays,
Oh, that's true. Yep. You kind of do
Mondays,
2 a week.
Yeah.
Use Monday as your pre-prep for a realistic. I like it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, no, but anyway, so Chris, quite an interesting one now with safety car, eh? Well,
yeah, it's changed the dynamic of the race quite dramatically. Of course, Greenfingers and Dixie get probably just what they needed in the situation. Not the only ones, of course. Everybody gets to go on your fresh set of tyres, but Dixie was probably hoping for one now or a little bit later.
yeah.
A recap, David. Charlie and Nick, some big contact. The Mercedes boys had a little bit of confusion going on between Nick and Ranger in the first stint. Some contact between them two at turn 11. It's the second safety car of the race. We lost Matoman. He got a massive start into turn 1. Turned Rage around off the start from P3. Rage fell back to the grid, and then on lap 2 Matoman has dropped the car and causing the first safety car of the race. Let's give everybody a reset. And then Dixie picked up some damage also in the early phase after that restart, so then he fell back to what was pretty much P15, I think, in about 13 seconds off the pack. It then pretty much ran like that for the next 8 or 9 laps. It was eeksy peeksy, some battles in the midfield, probably mostly going on between Pedro and Bossman, ENTXJ and F. Lewis. Then some big contact that I did not catch my 12 between Jay and Lewis, and I think someone else was involved in that, but they got the later end of the bargain. And then we've came to this safety car and Mitch. So F. Lewis is the only man not to pit on that safety car because he's tried to recover some track position. And Charlie and Nick resumed the 1-2. Greenfingers and Dixie gained probably the most. Dixie was on the off strategy and Fingers was on a soft that was going to have to be boxed again, probably never take it to the end of the race. So it's been a big win for them. Pedro's recovered really well, although the hard tyre call may hurt him. And yeah, that's about it really. I think I've covered all the big action. The big contacts, the big incidents between the drivers. But pretty much Charlie Nick up front. And the midfielders swap is kind of pretty much from Dixie to Clarkey has flipped twice as the race has progressed. And then this safety car has definitely helped out a few guys, which has led us up just nicely, Mr. David, to safety car in this lap. So you plugged a nice boring gap. So that was a good question to ask. And my first ever race recap, I hope it was not absolutely terrible.
No, it wasn't.
So Charlie becomes the de facto pace setter. He will take control of the pace of the grid, and it's on him to get going. Early or late, the choice is his. I don't think he's going to stress too much. He knows it's just an out and out fight now, I think, between himself and Charlie. The battle for this P3 spot, or P2 because Nick being a reserve, is very interesting between Dixie and Fingers. Charlie choosing to go very late. Let's watch from Fingers and Dixie in P4, and I think Charlie has now gone, and look at Nick, he's all over the back. He will stay right tucked up in the toe, then he will come back to the racing line. And further back has Enity got a bit of a jump. I think everybody just go through as they were as it stands. F. Lewis is a bit of an oversteer moment. He's just struggling a bit in tyre warm up. Mr. Rage will try and put him under pressure down into turn 3. He goes for a big one. Down on the brakes on the inside. The soft tyre just wielded much more brake. And on the exit, and F. Lewis has to give that one up. Now Dixie all over the back of Fingers. Of course, this for big positioning in the race. Got to be careful for warnings there. But Adam is looking to go through. He does not want to be held up. And ideally Adam is racing Rage here, and he's going to want to put some space between himself and Mr. Rage. And through he goes up into turn 11, through turn 10 on the inside. He will go through, and that is it now. Adam just needs to keep his head down. P2 is there. Now
Rage coming on and
a big move from the outside, and he gets it done. Outside to inside. Oh no, he's been too adventurous there, and he's turned himself round. I don't think Fingers really done anything wrong there. I think Rage just went a little bit deep in the brakes, and that has been detrimental. And now Dixie, advantage Dixie. Dixie takes home an easy P2 now if he just keeps the car on the track.
You can do it.
Look at F. Lewis and ENTXJ now. They'll go side by side. The Alpha Tauri and Williams, man. F. Lewis down the inside. He'll make the move stick. And Bossman, and who's this? Bossman and Ranger going side by side as well. And Clarkey trying to get involved in this fight in this soft compound tyre. His Bossman has a big oversteer moment over the curb there on the exit of turn 7.
Oh, here comes Clarkey. I think Clarkey on Bossman. Is he gonna send it on the inside? Oh, but the leg is yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Clarkey does it. No. Yeah, it's touch and go. Turn 11. Oh, bit of bashing. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I was just letting you talk through that one, Mitch. I got on board with it, and fair play to Bossman and Clarkey there. Both guys going through turn 11, the entrance at 11 side by side. Of course, giving Bossman the inside for 12, which just gives him the better exit. But Clarkey tried to hang on the outside, and he's going to go for a move here down in the last corner. Not quite this time around. He probably could have as well, because Bossman went just a little bit deep. But here the exit is good for Clarkey, and he's going to get on that ERS. Yeah. Bossman in full defence mode.
Oof. Yeah, no, he is. Yeah. Bossman with the 3-second penalty. Ryan Sam with the 3-second penalty.
Where is the gaps? Clarkey and Bossman now side by side. He does get through, and that allows Ryan Sam to jump in that one as well, because Bossman is a little deep on the move. And look at SPW and his little Haas up here, coming to claim some scouts in the top 10. Haas having a good day.
Yeah, no, they are.
Clarkie now having a look at ENTXJ, Ranger and F. Lewis. We'll go side by side, and maybe Ranger is maybe Dixie's biggest threat here. Oh, Rangers round, this is going to be a safety car! Rangers round, safety cars must come out here, absolute guarantee. What happens now? I would be stunned if this does not give us a full course safety car, absolutely stunned. Really? Really? Are we really going to get this? No safety car from that big crash. And Ranger out of the session. Dobbs on the exit of turn 12. As ENTXJ and Clarkie, now Clarkie goes through, and Ryan Sam there as well. Ryan Sam sneaks through on the inside of ENTXJ as well. Maybe too soon, fair enough, David, fair enough. I'm kind of glad of that then. I'm glad the racing's just been allowed to go on. Dixie in that P2 position. URL Nick though all over the back of Charlie. Could we see some action at the front? SPW now in the DRS, Ranger Bossman, who is in a bit of a train with Ryan Sam ENTXJ there on the back of Clarkie also. So Clarkie is actually pulling these guys up onto the back at F. Lewis. And poor Ranger. Poor Ranger, and it was an absolute monster accident. The car just let go so late in the corner. And then once it's gone at turn 12, you're just... it's a retirement waiting to happen if your wheel does not come off at that. I would be absolutely stunned. Oh, next went round! Next round on the entrance of turn 1, the wing will come off the exit of 1. And Dixie will drive into P2 in the race.
Oh no, Nick, I'm sorry, man.
But Fingers starting to catch back up a bit now. To Dixie. Nick gets a 3-second tight, and that is ruthless from the game. There is absolutely no need for that. Absolutely no need. So look at this. When I look back from Ryan Sam, he's got quite a queue of cars forming behind. SPW on the back of that queue. Mr. Rage trying to claw himself back up towards this fight. If Mr. Rage can get onto the back of this fight and start picking people off lap by lap, he could maybe find himself close to the top 7 here before the end of the race.
Yeah, I think so. As long as he keeps no penalties, gets any penalties, so yeah. And also,
yeah, they should be absolutely fine. Softs will be good. They do 10 laps, but you can probably take them 12 or 13 quite comfortably. I think I'd done 11 on them last night, and my pace was still very good come lap, or 10 maybe, come lap 10. Pace was still good. And I was in a lot of traffic, so he should be absolutely hunky-dory, especially because he's doing it on a little less fuel. I think the soft tyre should be absolutely fine. The question is, will the medium, like the soft will go there, the only thing I don't know is will the medium become better before the laps come out? That's the question I'm not sure of. But Dixie's holding a bit of an ERS advantage, he just needs to hold on to that. And that'll be his defensive tool against Fingers if he gets there, but Fingers is going to end up in a fight, I think, with F. Lewis. And there's a yellow flag. Could this be a safety car with 5 to go? Who's that round? Oh, it's Mazepin, not, it's just a big spin around. So Clarkie will get through and Mazepin, and they'll go up to 13. Mazepin spun.
Okay. That's it, man.
That's it. After spending some time with him now, I totally understand his gamer tag.
Yes.
So SPW is somehow went from P10 to P7 in this fight here, and now looking at a top 6 in the old Haasmobile. he's done a very good job on the car. A very, very good job. But Dixie holding that gap up front at 1.7, 1.8 seconds. In fact, he's actually starting to find a little bit of time. Nearly went out to 2 seconds there.
Okay.
Oh, and look at this ENTXJ SPW having a bit of a fight, and there's an Alpine there of Mr. Rage getting involved, but he gets put onto that curb on the outside, and the car just bottoms out, and it costs him almost a second there. That is what I'm interested by, David. 110%. I think the mediums may come into their window about 27, 28. So the biggest factor is going to be the gap Adams put on Fingers. It is going out. Can he if he can get that to around about 3 seconds, I think he'll hold on to it. But if F. Lewis clears this lap, and there's a couple of laps to come at Adam, then who knows. Fingers got an energy advantage though, so he will defend.
Oh yeah, no, he will. Oh, Bossman retired. Oh, safety car.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. Ranger is left. Okay, yeah, I think he...
Safety car out with 4. Yeah. So this is only going to be out for 2 laps. Safety car, in fact, will come in at the end of the next lap. That's a given. It will only stay out to 27.
Yes.
So some big decisions ahead now for the guys, and this is going to turn the end of this race on its absolute head.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Would I pit? Charlie's going to pit. He's got lots of buffer.
Yeah.
But Adam, I don't think he should pit.
No, I don't think he must. But
he's in that unfortunate position where... Well, that is a very tough call. I would not like to be the man making that decision.
Oh, no, well.
Yeah, Charlie's got the buffer, he can be in and out. The gap's 19 seconds, you'll only be about 14 seconds under safety car, so he'll come out way ahead of Adam still, even though safety car's out, plus Adam's still got his delta. So is Adam going to come in? He is going to pit. As is F, and Fingers pits, F. Lewis stays out. Ryan Salmon's going to stay out. SPW comes in. Mr. Rage stays out. So where has Dixie... Dixie may have cracked this, by the way. If Dixie's only lost out a couple of positions, but he's got that much fresh of a tyre,
he can kill it.
Danny Boy goes through. Dixie out P6.
P6, yeah. Ah, he's got this.
Podium could still be on here.
Yeah, for sure. They drove with time penalty there.
I seen that one further back. So everybody pits. Volksbob chooses track position. Volksbob, Danny Rage, Ryan Sam, F. Lewis all went for track position. We will find out in not so long's time if that was the correct decision, because safety car will go in this lap. So the guys that were further back that pit have lost their opportunity now. Clarky, Pedro, Mazespin, Nick, I think they've lost their opportunity to get round, because as I said there is the call, safety car will go in this lap. They will always give 2 laps of racing. So Charlie, I don't think he's going to feel much under threat. F. Lewis now is just trying to secure a good finish, but he's on an old medium tyre that's going to be very hard on the restart. So when will Charlie go?
Will we go live or will we go how late?
We will stay with him to find out. That'll be the guys at the back trying to push on to catch this pack up. Is Charlie going to be a nice guy and give the guys some more time? Clarky is getting closer and closer, but Charlie, I think is thinking about it now. No, he's going to wait for now, and he is absolutely away now. He gets the foot down, and look at this. Yeah. Look at Ryan, Sam and Ian, TXJ, and Dan and Dixie side by side. Fingers. Oh, and there's going to be contact there.
Yeah.
Did Dixie get any damage?
Yeah, I think he did. I
think he's good.
Maybe last.
Oh, and Danny Boy's been turned round. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Danny Boy's been turned round. And now Adam needs to push. He has to push. He's got no choice. There's a lap and a half to go. Charlie's going to check out, but Adam's P2 is up there. It's there if he wants it. He's not using energy. Adam, push, you donkey. Sorry.
Yeah, Ryan said, yeah, there's a penalty, so well, Mr. Rage could be nasty. Sure you will. Oh, SPW. Okay, no, all good.
So he has the much better tyre grip. Is he going to go for one down the inside? He thinks about it. Oh, there's a bit of rubbing, but he is going to get through. Small rub, I think he gets through. Adam is absolutely on the push there, and look at SPW now. He'll have a look at Mr. Rage on the inside there. Mr. Rage is going to go deep. That's going to give SPW the cutback. Mr. Rage will hold the inside line for the exit, but he gets through SPW in the half. And now look at Adam, he's absolutely on. Ryan Sam on the inside, up into turn 1. Can he get the job done here? He's got the superior tyre gripping through. He goes. Now, he needs to push. He's got 3 sectors to recover his P2. How close can he get to F loose? Ryan Sam is still hunting in the back. He's obviously not got any damage either because he is absolutely on one. Fingers is lost out to P7 off the restart there. I'm not quite sure exactly what's happened, but can Dixie catch F loose? It is absolutely on it. He needs to push. He's got about half a tank of energy. F loose is pushing me absolutely everything he has, so he's got to get it done on the tyre grip. When you see how much he closes in the corner, 2/10 every corner. Adam, can he get the move done into the last sector? We go. Charlie is way ahead, 5.7 seconds of gap. He's going to take the win, but Dixie picks up the penalty. It's over. It's absolutely over. He picks up that penalty, looking for too much in the entrance of turn 11. And is he still going to try and fight on, try position through? He will go. F loose will not fight it. I don't think he will get 3 seconds in a couple of corners, but Charlie will come round the last corner, will go on board. He will take the race win that he's so dearly craved and realistic. He gets the checker flag. Dixie will get out of the last corner and bring home P2, a recovered P2, but F loose will take it back. And will SPW lose out?
Oh, no.
No, Rage gets it! He lost the podium. Wow. Rage gets it! It's Charlie from F Lewis and Rage P3. Dixie drops to P4 by 2/10 of a second. Rage behind Ian TXJ behind in P5. Ryan Sam 6, Clarky 7, SPW P8, Volksburg P9, Fingers 10, Nick 11, Pedro 12, Mazespin P13, and Helmet 14. Unfortunately, we lose Danny Boy, Bossman Ranger, Mitch who joined me in the comments box, Mitzy Matt, and Matoman. What an ending, my throat hurts.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And Clarky somehow got a 20-second time penalty there after the race. That makes no sense.
Yeah, Clarky, Charlie, I mean, Mr. Right.
That was crazy, absolutely crazy. F Lewis picks up the driver of the day. Massively unlucky, yes, I agree, but it was an absolutely epic finish. David, I thoroughly enjoyed that one myself. If you need a tense couple of laps, that is how you do it. Oh, Adam, I tell you something, you made the last couple of laps very, very intense. You put on a bit of a show there. There was some contacts and some rubbing and thingy, but if you just try to get that inside cut that you've been lining people up with for the exit of turn 12 all the time, and that unfortunate penalty hurt you quite dramatically in the end. Very well done, Charlie. Good job. We'll see if we can get Charlie F Lewis and Mr. Rage in for a chit chat. Who have we added so far? Have we added them all? I can.
Rage.
Did you add Charlie also, Mitch?
Yes, before Charlie, yes. I hate my
Oh yes. So, Mr. Rage, we'll just start with you since you joined Foster. P3 man, that was a pretty bonkers closing couple of laps. The race in a whole was a bit up and down for yourself. You were there and then you weren't, and then you were, and then ultimately it all kind of came back in the last closing laps. I think no penalties was a big gain for you at the end of the race as well, right? And that got you a couple of positions. So P3, probably a highly unlikely P3, probably at the midpoint of the race. So you got to feel quite good by that, right?
Oh man, I had to work for that.
It's never easy and realistic, especially when you're in one of their cars.
Yes, and when the first time round, I don't know what was happening, but just before this virtual came out, I clicked the back of JNTX because I think they were slowing down because of the VSC and just the timing. I just clipped him and lost my front wing, so I had to pit under that, which cost me time. So I was at the back on the hards, fighting through, and then I did a stupid thing, and then I lost it.
Oh yeah.
After the second safety car.
You had your little excursion.
Yes, little excursion, and but yeah, that was fun. Honestly, I'm not bothered.
It did look a very enjoyable one, of course. Good finishes mean punishment, if you want to call it that, I guess, and realistic. But it's for the greater good.
Yes.
Of course, that will. I don't even. Oh, of course, sprint race next week, Rage.
Yes.
So slightly slower car, but I think is realistic running the sprint format also.
Yes, it is the same.
So something to look forward to.
Yes.
I think a sprint format in the lower performing cars could play right into where there could be maybe a lot more on offer than trying to qualify. So I think that could be an interesting dynamic. Do you look forward to that one?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Good stuff, mate. Top job on P3. Very well deserved. That was an intense last couple of laps. I enjoyed that one. I don't know how you felt in the car, but I don't think I stopped talking for about 2 minutes solid. But good job, mate. Very well done.
Thank you.
F. Lewis, are you here, young man? Or P2 man? Ethan?
Yep.
Are you here?
Yeah.
Very well done, young man. Again, another driver that was maybe a bit of an up and down race. For some reason, it doesn't matter what league it's in, you and ENTXJ just can't stay away from each other in racetracks anymore. Not in badness, but you always seem to get entailed in a battle everywhere you go.
Oh yeah, nice lad. Just sometimes I wish you stayed a bit more behind us.
Don't we all at times? But in the whole, P2, you got to be happy. Good result.
Not bad from P19.
Very much so. Of course, serving it off the quali ban. Safety cars, of course, played a big part, but you've got to get the strategy right when the safety cars come. And I think you very much did that.
Especially when you hit your teammate halfway through.
We'll gloss over that one.
Oh, that wasn't fun. Yeah, but yeah, happy P2. I really did. I didn't actually see Adam had a penalty. So when he got past us, I was kind of a bit like, oh, damn it. Then I saw the penalty, I was like, when the hell did he get that?
He literally got it on the entrance to turn 11 on the last lap.
Did he?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that why he's about to murder Rage?
Maybe.
he's on the way.
But still,
yeah,
look forward to next week. Sprint format, do you think that's something that suits you? I think a driver like you, a sprint format does suit you, F. Lewis.
Nah.
You don't think so?
More laps to bottle it. More laps to bottle it. There's already enough laps as there is.
Oh, so F. Lewis is not looking forward to it. But anyways, P2, sir, very, very good job.
Thanks.
And very well driven today. And Mr. Charlie, are you here? We've waited a couple of weeks to probably have this conversation.
Oh, I'm here.
You will probably feel it is a week or two too late. But we get here in the end. It's ironic that the man that maybe took your one away from you joined you in the lowest step at the podium. But
Sorry.
this is how it happens sometimes. And pretty comfortable. You had a bit of a battle with Nick at the start, but I think you were pretty comfortable out front there, Charlie. No sweat.
Yeah, it was quite an easy win until the last few laps. Once Nick was right behind me.
Yeah, the closing laps were very, very intense. Did you always have the intention to pit when that last safety car came out? Of course, having that 16, 17 second gap, you've really no reason not to, right?
I was gonna pit if we didn't have the safety car. If I had the big enough gap to pit without it, I was gonna pit and try to go for fast lap. But since we're on the safety car, of course I'd pit, or else I'd struggle on my tires since they were quite old.
Yeah.
But then when I took the fast lap, Nick took off me, so I'm annoyed at him for that.
Also, does that mean it just goes, Mr. Rage is here to answer the question, Rage, does that mean because it was a reserve, does the fastest lap just go null, or does it go to the next fastest lap of a full-time driver?
I'll need to double check this, but I think it should go to the next person who has.
So I assume that would then go to you, Charlie, so you may still have that point.
Yeah. So I'd have that point then.
Yes, because you were the next fastest lap at the end of the race.
So I have maximum points this weekend.
It would be a clean sweep. That's a little icing on the cake, just to top it all off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're happy, Charlie? Of course, it will mean that you'll move down in some car performance next week. But of course, you've not scored the first couple of races, so you're not going to take a big drop, maybe like some of the other guys. So probably somewhere in that mid-pack. Look forward to that one. Think you can still score well in a mid-pack car as well.
I mean, as long as I'm not in the Haas, I could probably score well.
Yeah, nobody wants the Haas.
No, literally, in Bahrain it had no power.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. Sometimes it's pointless even having 8th gear.
Yeah.
But anyway, top job, Charlie. As I say, a win probably overdue, but expected nonetheless. So very well done, sir.
Thank you.
Mitch, do you have anything for the boys before we finish up for the evening?
No. Well done, guys. Yeah, good job.
So it's a good job for Mr. Mitch. And before we go, Mitch, we need to do a driver of the day.
Flip. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a tough one because if you want to talk about good drives, Charlie just drove away. It was dominant, right? But it's a little bit expected when he's in that car. It's like Lewis Hamilton winning a race. We just kind of expect it to happen these days, you know.
Yeah,
although maybe some of us don't like it so much. And the midfield was very open, but I think the recovery drive to P2 from F. Lewis, especially off the serving a quali ban. And this doesn't mean that I'm rewarding you for taking somebody out and getting yourself banned. That is not what's happening here. I'm just meriting you on the drive that was tonight.
Not very nice.
just in case it's like, oh.
More quality beds.
I'll take everyone out every week. That'll be nice.
So I think F. Lewis deserves it tonight.
Yeah.
Adam, I think, would have been a close second, but that stinky penalty he got at the end of the thing with there would have hurt him.
SPW didn't do that bad in the Haas either.
Yes, P7 or 8 he finished.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was like P7.
I know, which is probably going to make him annoyed because it means he'll be in not such a better car next week. But I think he's shown how good he is and how good he's coming on, SPW.
Yeah.
He's scoring very well, so. On that note, that's us for OTL this week. Yes, it's Thursday evening. So, back next Monday for normal OTL, and we debut the sprint feature. Not to be missed, folks. We will catch you then.